We are late, right?
Sweet. I love being live. No going back.
Hey, guys. It's what a beautiful day today. Welcome back. This is Dr. Nguyen. Welcome to my podcast video channel today. On my side, I got Dr. Tony Nguyen from Texas. Uh, what a beautiful day. Thank you, Dr. Tony Nguyen. Can I call you Tony? Uh,
Yeah, call me Tony. And my friends, my close friends, they know me by Danny because you have Asian parents too. And they
uh,
name us whatever they want whenever we go from home from the hospital sometimes. That's
right.
what happened to me. But yes.
So it's an honor to bring Dr. Tony Nguyen on my podcast. He's a dentist, but also a passion dentist in terms of kingdom builder,
Yeah.
in terms of leadership, and in terms of who he is and what it up for, how he can help other dentist friends. So Dr. Tony Nguyen, what an excited day today to I've been coordinating this for quite some time, and finally we get the chance to see face to face, having a genuine conversation. We never really talk to each other at all, besides a couple of texts. But when at a Christian brother, when we chat, we can have a feeling somehow we have a connection right away. So I'd like to have you, the audience, receive a couple introductions, like who you are and what you do, and give us a little bit of journey where you go from like being just a typical dentist and how you become a leader
Mhm.
of dentistry. You want to help other dentists, and you have a lot of passion. I know that on your follow your Facebook
Mhm.
page, I see that you don't stop. You do what you like to do, and other
Yeah.
people feel like it could be a kind of strange guy, but when you really like understand a person point of view in terms of like what they believe, why they believe, and why they have so much passion in what he want to do or she want to do, you can have a feeling. So this is a great
Mhm.
time for me to use this time. Just let the audience to hear, your journey walking with
Mhm.
God first, and tell us a little bit about how you go about your journey from what school you go to
Mhm.
from dental school and things
Yeah, the
like that.
professional background stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, hey, thank you, Locke, for bringing me on here and watching my videos. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to a void, but my mindset is always, man, if I can just give one small message that makes someone's life a little bit better, clearer, and more closely aligned with God, knowing that they're not alone too. To me, I won the day, and I thank you for the invitation to share a little bit so that we can continue being a blessing to others and continue being a kingdom builder. So with that being said, too, kind of my journey and my background, not typical Asian background, not even though I'm a dentist, I know you're kind of like, well, you're a dentist. How can you? Well, my background and how I got started was very not typical. I actually became my girlfriend, who is my wife now for 17 years, Tao. She got pregnant when she was about 17 years old by me. So we were a
Mm,
high school sweetheart. She
mm,
got pregnant and we was unplanned. She came from a broken family. I was coming from a family that was not stable as well. And I wasn't even planning to go to school. If anyone knew me back then, I was like a hood rat. I was a mess. I was doing things I shouldn't have been done. I just did not have a lot of guidance. Fast forward a couple of years, my wife and we graduated together early. We went into undergrad. We graduated while raising my son, while working, and figuring out this thing called life, a thing called fatherhood, a thing called parenting, and being a husband, all at like 17 or 18. So it was a lot at that time. And eventually, I got accepted in dental school. My first try, went to dental school, and the whole time, Locke, I was in dental school. I was like, man, I know I'm going to dental school. I know I want to become a business owner. I want to be a practice owner. So I spent my 4 years in dental school learning everything about possibly as much as I could about dentistry while business of dentistry while I was in school. So I would read a book a week and talk to mentors, have mentorship. I had a coach, a business and practice mentor coach, Tuan Pham, if you guys don't know him, Dental Maverick, while I was like a second year dental student. Because
that's
I was like,
amazing.
yeah, so I was so focused on, I was like, I got mouths to feed. I got people who depend on me. I have goals I want to hit, and this has got to happen. And a lot of it was fear, like fear that I wouldn't be able to take care of my wife, my kids. And during that time, no one kind of, not a lot of people believed in me. Some family and friends just said, yeah, you should just quit school. You should just work full time. Not everyone's meant for school. And I felt it because I was not the sharpest tool in the tool chest. Like I just was not the smartest kid. And it took me a while to get it. But so I had this goal and this focus. I'm gonna go out and build this practice and be successful and hit all these financial numbers. And my life was gonna be great. My wife and family will have everything they want, and my kids will have everything one that want. And I finally have proved everyone wrong that like, yeah, F you, middle finger, I did it. I took care of my family. I proved you wrong. I'm not that big of a dumbass, so I had a lot of that going into it. And I can say this. I took over ownership of the practice that I'm in now, and I've been practicing about 6 years. I kind of took myself out of the practice after year 4 or 5 and have an associate. And I hit these financial markers like over 1 million, blah, blah, all these numbers that doctors and like young doctors had this dream of hitting. And I finally hit it after my first year. And I was just like, wow, I did it. Look how great I am. I hit it. But I can honestly say I would come home and be feeling like pretty burned out. My team kept leaving. I felt like I couldn't keep the right team. I felt like I couldn't trust anyone. Felt like everything was on my shoulders. My wife would just ask me to do one thing, like do this for me when I come home. And I was just, oh yeah, I'll do it in a minute. I'll do it. And I would just get really, I would blow up. No, not initially, but I was like, hey, I'll do it in a minute. I'm really tired. And she would say this one thing, and I don't know why, but I hit a breaking point, and I just remember when I hit those numbers and I came home, she made that request. I just yelled at her, when is it enough? When is it enough? Stop it. When is it? And I just felt like I just couldn't do enough. I just couldn't do enough to take care of her, to make her happy, to take care of the kids, to keep the team going, and the patients having complaints. And although I hit these financial numbers, and I just remember going in my closet because I cursed at my wife, I punched a hole through the cabinet door, and I remember going in the closet and just weeping. And then I heard my young boys, they're like couple of years old. My oldest son was probably maybe 11 at 12 at the time, 11, and they were comforting my wife. Are you okay, mom?
mm,
What's wrong, mom? Are you okay? And I
mm,
just could remember her tearing, and I can remember what they were saying to her. And I just felt there's just got to be a better way. I'm obviously missing something, and money is probably not gonna fix it because we had all the money that would take care of us, that we were good, that but why wasn't it enough? And so it led me to this journey, which is really part two of where I got to be today, who I am today, and my new commitment of what I want to leave for my family, my legacy, and when my life is over.
mm.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. You are being honest and vulnerable to the audience around the world, and this is the reason why I like to interview people like you. Um, I think the journey that you have is not so much different with the journey of those who are newborn Christian, like me. I just have a quick story to add on. Uh, Maybe like 6, 7 years ago, when one of my dentist friend, who I met at the surgery continuing education class,
Mhm.
doing gum graft surgery on cadaver and everything. We have a really good connection, so I kept in touch with him for a couple of years. One day I called him again on the weekend, on Sunday, and while I was driving to go to another CE class, and I asked him, "So, brother, what are you doing in?" He said, "I'm in my office." I said, "What are you doing in your office in the morning on Sunday?" He said, "Man, it's my wife. She wanna harm my mom." I'm like, what? You guys live together with your mom, and she wanna harm your mom, and your mom, and she's a dentist too, and that's not right. And I said, you making $1 million too. This is something wrong, and you know what you're getting wrong is. I said, no. What can I do? What should I do? I said, you need Jesus. So can I pray for you? So at that moment, he said, I don't have an option. You pray, whatever you pray. I said, no, if you believe, I'll pray and things gonna get better. So while I was driving, I pray. He said, yes, do it for me. I pray. A minute later, as soon as I'm done praying, he called him on that moment, and he will panic. And I say, that's okay. I'm gonna hang up the phone. You talk to her, and I'll check with you a couple hours later. And sure enough, a couple hours later, I checked, and he said, I don't know what you do, but she turned from dark to bright. I
Yeah.
don't know what's wrong, but
Grace.
everything calm, everything
Yeah.
super calm now. I said, yeah, man, you need Jesus. You need to read the Bible. You need to start, humble yourself and work together because,
Mm,
well, we all had that moment that
mm,
uh, brokenness,
mm,
and like you mentioned, one key point here is there gotta be another way of functioning.
mm.
So
Yeah.
I've been to a situation where just like you, and so I hear you. So tell us about so how long you been practicing right now?
Um, I graduated in 2018. So
Hmm.
what is that? 21, 2, 3, 4. Like 6 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
six
And
years.
so you I know you are doing something very different right now. Are you full-time practicing or you half-time or?
So I come in about a day a week
Hmm.
to practice clinically, and then I'll train my team and work on administrative things like that on one day. And then every other Thursday, I come in for sedate. I'll sedate patients for my associate or for patients who need it and things like that. So I take care of my patients who really want to see me, and then I still do some sedation as well. But it's kind of like around, the amount that will allow me to still be there in the office, take care of the people there, take care of my patients, my team, and then still take care of this other circle that I've opened my life up to, which are Christian business owners, Christian men, fathers, and leaders who are ready to step up in their leadership.
So let me go back a little bit. So you also do additional training of IV sedation?
Say that one more time.
You also took additional training for
Yes,
IV
yeah,
sedation?
yeah, yeah. I learned IVC. It's just a gradual thing, like
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
most of us, but I
Okay.
love it.
Uh-huh. Now, do you like doing dentistry? What is your relationship with your occupation right now? Do you enjoy doing what you do?
Yeah, I still love I still enjoy what I do. I still love placing implants. I still love talking to patients. I still love talking to the team and growing them. It's just I know with this limited time of my life that any moment can be taken away. Every moment is so valuable. So, and this goes back to me running 100 miles and training for 100 miles. There's only so much time in a day. And I was like, if I only have so much time in a day, what is it that I want to leave behind the most? And as much as I want to transform smiles and, and transform, get people out of pain, which I do, I want to play the eternal game where people are getting out of pain for eternity. And so I was like, that's the game I want to play all in on.
That's beautiful. Tell me about the training. Is this recently, or you already accomplished the 100?
Yeah, yeah, great. That's a great question. So, since I remember, I told you I had that moment of like just breakdown. Well, God just worked in my life. He brought me to the right mentors, the right people. One of them was Sebastian. If you and you got some of you, if you're in the Christian community, you might know him. He was the first, I think, Vietnamese pastor in California that led like a mega church for Vietnamese people. But he's retired since, and he
Mm.
became a business leadership coach. He was former mafia, former prison inmate for a bunch of other things. With his life was transformed by Christ. Long story short, I met him. He guided me. I went through a process of learning and getting trained by him to be someone who lived in integrity. And he introduced to me what it meant to be a Christian man and a Christian leader by just little drips of milk here and there until I finally realized what the bigger picture looked like. So no, I started off getting trained myself. Then I became a coach for his trainers, helping and supporting his training. And then I became a trainer for his coaches, where I trained the coaches along with the people getting trained. And so I'm having a training in April 11th and 12th. And this is the first time I'm bringing it back home because when I felt fully convicted that the Holy Spirit was like, yeah, I want you to develop disciples who are leading in their leadership um, in business, what I call marketplace ministry. That's when I
Hmm.
decided to have this training specifically for Christian business owners and Christian dentists.
What a
And they
beautiful,
don't have to be, they just need to be open to the principles.
right, right, yeah. I mean, the first step is understand the foundation of Christian world, why we are here, who we are, and on this
Our
earth.
identity.
Yeah, identity. That's very important. Um, so you've been trained by him for how long? You've been with
I would say over about 5 years.
okay, very
Yeah.
yeah. So let's say if somebody, like a dentist, and let's say you walk with being you could be raised by in a family of Christian,
Mhm.
and you're a dentist, but for some reason you don't have any passion to share with other people with anything, whether it's in the office or for to your friend. Do you feel like that is somehow is that how God want us to be, or what else out there?
No, I always go back and refer to that Bible verse where Jesus says, when there's a lantern, you don't want to put it in the corner of the room. You want to lift it up to the center of the house to beam out to everything. And I think and this is not a Christian should do this. I think it's a natural effect, a natural result of someone who's just living out the Christian values and they receive the fruits of that of living in value of that, you naturally get excited. Just like if we went out and we went to a CE and we're like, dude, the CE was amazing. I did this course. Now I'm popping like 13 implants. My patients are chewing their teeth. They're able to eat. They're able to digest. Oh my God, it feels amazing. I would recommend you take this course too, and you can do it too because I want that for you. I want the best and the greatest for you in your life. So you would say that to a friend or anybody else, right?
Right, right. So
Yeah,
whenever you got something that is like that you feel a passion about it, you it spill out.
it
So
just
it's something.
naturally spills out. My
Yes,
cup is filled up to the brim and now it's overflowing. I can't help but pour out all that extra.
yes.
When my cup is empty, I don't want to share anything because I barely have enough for me right now.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's how I see that, that's the reason why on even though when you do your few minutes Facebook, um, I can see that that is the spirit that is the loving spirit that is spewing out because you don't want to hoard, you don't want to keep it for yourself.
Mhm.
And friend or family or people who don't know you probably feel like this guy probably up to something, and so
Mhm.
can you tell them that what are you up to for something, what are you up
Oh,
to?
yeah. When you say what's up to, why am I making the post, right?
Right, right, right.
The post is also for me too, because it helps me remind me and reflect like how good God is every single day. And B, I know there's someone that's sitting in their closet crying at that moment, possibly later that night, when their patients are complaining about them. They got a bad Google review. Their wife is on them. Their children aren't appreciating them. And it just feels like I've done the best that I could. I keep, you know, running my wheels, but I feel like I'm not getting any traction on it. It's like, my gosh, what's going on? And it's just I just want to give them just shed, if I can just shed one bit of light to in their life, saying like, maybe, just maybe there's another possibility and maybe I can get feedback from this. Maybe I can just message him. Maybe I'm not going to even message him, but maybe it's a seed that might not even grow for years, 10 years. Maybe by the time I'm gone, then it blossoms. So it's me just sowing small seeds, and wherever it germinates, it germinates. I don't know. I let God do the rest. But when my heart has the conviction, I need to show up right now at this time in this season, this year, this month, this day for that training. I have to be obedient, even if I look like a dumbass sometimes. And sometimes I feel like it because like I'm on the video, I'm like stuttering. It's like, oh, sorry, that didn't come out really like pretty accurate there. Or, oh, I don't know if I said that right. Because I have all of these people pleasing, fear of rejection, fear of like what people are thinking about. He's just a dentist. What does he know about this? It's like, I don't, but you know what? God qualifies the called. He doesn't call the qualified. So I'm definitely not qualified, but I'm willing to be obedient.
Absolutely. So, the last video that you post about the your class in April, what day is that?
It's
April?
gonna be April 11th through the 12th. That's the day I start that we start the training in the room. But the
Okay.
training starts a week before that. People even show up in Colorado Springs. So yes, so it's a 2-day training, but that's
Hmm.
training in the room where we're face to face,
Hmm.
and it's an intense training. I'm
Hmm.
talking about 12 to 14 hours both days. So it's a lot, but we go deep, we go hard, and we get we as long as that individual is willing to have a vision bigger than their circumstances, and they're willing to do the work, they get their transformation. They get the tools to go next level.
So, when that last post video, I feel like you are almost like John the Baptist who called the dentist world. Those dentist guys are sitting
Uh-huh.
around, like you said, that either either they either if they get your message, they go and see you and
Mm,
learn something and change their life, or they will be running the rat race and circle around and around and
yeah.
around and around and around. They hit and miss, and they win, lose, win and lose,
Mm,
win and lose. So that's the status of mentality. It can be very dangerous because at some point you can might kill yourself. A lot of
yeah.
dentists kill themselves, and
And
and because they don't have the way to get out. So the best way is to kill themselves, right? That's
that's the
one of
best way.
the,
When you
the
don't have another out, you think there's no other. Trust me, dentists are so freaking smart, so
right.
intelligent, so hardworking, so diligent.
Yeah,
I mean, to go to dental school, open up a practice, put a couple of $100,000 in, and work in people's mouths. I mean, we are very powerful people,
right.
but we can grind ourselves to dust because we
Yes.
rely just on ourselves.
I had a dentist friend who said to me that, this is what he said. Okay, it's terrible, it's sad, but I have to learn how to be careful because he's not Christian, right? So he said, if you caught me dying, don't resuscitate me, don't save me, let me die. You see, that's how sad it is,
That is, yeah,
uh, but
yeah,
but uh, but that's the reality, when
that's
you
the
live in a
reality.
world where you don't know who you are. I'm
Yeah,
saying to you guys, exactly whether you are Christian or non-Christian, if you don't know who you are, you will at some point in your life you will meet the time where the decision that you make, it could be break or make it. So the decision is based on sometimes, like, if you trying to read the intelligent world, do this, do that. uh, the point I'm trying to make is all those things that you do, if it not aligned to God will, it not aligned to God word, you will fail miserable.
yeah.
And when you fail, it's very difficult to bring back what you lost. That's
Hmm.
the reason why I bring Tony here, Dr. Tony Nguyen here, that we have the same mindset, that we came to from the background where we were at some point in our life we did have a struggle, but we realized that there's a resource available, the Word of God, and the people that experience, like him, or me. We can we can help you to bring you close the gap and help you to live the dentist life with sense and purpose, and
Yeah.
with clarity, and with vision, and with the Word of God, and somehow when you go home every day that you work, whether you work 5 days a week, 3 days a week, or one day a week, um, you somehow have peace. So you somehow have, the
You're
peace
not
of
burned
God
out.
that is beyond your understanding.
Yeah.
Beyond your understanding. It's not like a typical peace, like, oh yeah, got everything. You cannot get
A
everything.
stress-free piece. They're like,
Right,
oh, I just want to be stress-free. Then I have
right.
peace. Like, that's not going to happen till you're dead. You'll
Right.
always have stress.
Yeah.
But
The way the dentists were, or professional people like dentist, doctor, chiropractor, any healthcare provider, I know you guys making a lot of money. I know you making good money for your family, but do you have peace? Do you have the kind of peace where you sleep well, where you travel, where you go do something, and you don't you still have maintained the peace that is not normal, but it's beyond your ability to handle it, right? So that's the kind of peace that we're talking about, and that's the kind of quote unquote, like teaching or coaching and
Mhm.
or understanding, and it's just mainly like the word of God can change your life. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And I want to add to that too, two things. A good litmus test is if you're sitting here and you're watching this right now and you're thinking, damn, I have to do this, anything, then then it's not a get to. You're already out of that grace. You're already in the hamster wheel of have to.
Mm.
The difference is in our world, in my world, it's more gets to. I get to do. I get to take care of my wife. I get to take care of my children. I get to take care of my patients in business. And it's not this, oh my gosh, I have to go in here and I have to do. It comes from a heart full of gratitude because it's overpouring. Like I said, there's so much accumulated that you're overflowing. This everything is a get to versus a have to, and it's just so sad and lose all life. And the second thing is for me too, like you said, get into the word so that you get that life. And sometimes it takes a while too. Like it took me years to walk through this journey and getting more clear on like, okay, at first, sometimes for some of us, it's maybe not even get to word, although that'd be great if you did. You're like shortcutting everything, but get aligned to your own word. Are you in integrity with what you are even saying for yourself for the day? Because that is the first step. So you can start gauging yourself and taking back that power of control that you can use then to learn more about Christ. But it's a journey, is what I'm saying, Love.
No, I
For
agree
me
with you, B.
too. Yeah,
We cannot grow. We cannot. But being a Christian, very vulnerable. Very. Paul said that we are weak,
yeah,
we are strong in Christ, right?
yes,
But so and it's a journey, and every little step of small faith, it will become a big step for big faith when we
yeah,
face the mountain, right?
yes. There you
So
go.
really quick story, so you can see how dentist we can help each other. So maybe 3 years ago. I know this dentist almost like 10 years, but we never contact and talk to each other. But we're on the same board of advisory for a private company. And so one day I call him and I talked to him, and he said, COVID killed my art practice. I had to sell it, and my back hurt. I'm now on disability, so I collect a check, like a limited check per month, and that's all I do. And kind of depressed, and he start like very depressed, and I tell him that I'm gonna pray for you, and I think you need Jesus. And the guy is a half Jewish, half mom is Christian, and
Mhm,
dad is Jewish, but he doesn't really know what he wants us to call him, so he doesn't know.
mhm,
It took me 2 years uh, after the last conversation was this. On Monday, I call him and I jump in and talk about God and all of that. He said, "No, no, no, Locke, stop talking about God with me, okay? I don't want to hear anything about Jesus, God, anything like that. Did you say it? We're gonna hang up the phone. We're done." So I said, "Okay, okay, never mind. Forget it. Let's talk about business." And then 5, 10 minutes later, I said, "Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow again." The next day, Tuesday, I call him again. And as soon as I talk, I asked him about business. He said, "No, no, no, no. Don't talk about business. Let's talk about Jesus." I said, "What do you want to talk about Jesus?" He said, "Do me a favor. Can you help me until the Tuesday until Sunday? I'm gonna go baptize." I said, "What? The Monday you you deny Jesus
Yeah.
Tuesday, you want Jesus for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
I'm sure I can help you with that. So fast forward, Sunday came, whole family came out with him. He celebrate. He FaceTime with me.
Mm,
He he he
mm.
surrendered himself for Christ. And so the beauty is 2 year later. So on that day, I talked to him. I said, you make the best decision, brother. And I pray that God going to use you for His kingdom, for His glory, and He's going to use you
Mm.
supernaturally and very powerfully, and He's going to do more than what He done to me. And you hear this now, and you're going to hear me repeat again when you become somebody that different. So 2 year passed by.
Mhm.
Right now, the opportunity for him is amazing. He is consultant for fundraising company, and God blessed him with so many revenue, so many directions that
Resources.
it's overflow. Now
Yeah.
he go around, he just talk about Jesus to everyone. I'm like,
Mm.
you do it more than I do now. Can you slow down and say, no, I can't. I have to
Yeah.
do it.
You
I don't
have
know
to
what to
do
do.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like
so that's
Paul.
that's what it is. So I just
Yeah.
wanted you to know that Tony, you are not alone. What you're doing for leadership, for other people, for kingdom of God, and for the marketplace business owner. I'm with you. We have a group here in Bay Area as well, and we're doing the same thing. So it's a mix. It doesn't have to be dentist, but it's overall like if you're a business owner, how do you operate your company or your office in the way that is glorify God instead of
Yeah.
like, cutting the corner, doing
Mhm.
things that it can you know a lot of profit, but that doesn't last long. If you do a lot of profit, but you don't do it in a way that it please God,
Integrity.
it,
Yeah.
it, it can be a loss for big loss, right? So
Yes.
yeah, if I miss anything,
No, yeah, for it just reminds me of the quote too, is like, success without integrity is just like failure in disguise. It just looks good, but it's not sustainable.
exactly.
So how me personally, what I found was in marketplace ministry and how I brought God into my business was like you said, I use it to glorify God. But what does that even mean? It means doing it His way, doing it with His words, His integrity. But when it comes to that, it means building and growing disciples, investing in disciples. And so prior to my business, my team, my employees, my staff, before I treated them and saw them like prostitutes. I know it's terrible, but it's transactional.
It's
It's
just like
nothing
slave, right?
relational. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, hey, you do this for this many hours for this much pay. And if you can't do it, you need to leave.
Yeah, yeah.
It
I,
was
I
just
do, I
all
do,
performance.
I do have dentists treats employee just like that, and it's just so brutal. And I many times those young dentists that just opened the practice, I told them, hey, the key for your employee is if you cannot treat them the way you're supposed to receive the treat from other people. You're supposed to love them, and if you can put love in to them, you're gonna see that the
Mhm.
transformation of your practice is supernatural, and it's just amazing. But they say I cannot do it. This is what I do. This is what they do wrong to me. I say, yeah, I understand. I hear you, but how you communicate, how you talk to them,
How you
how
lead
you
them.
being a leader is not just about pushing down, right? And
Mhm.
so those things it just require first we have to be transformed before we're able
Yeah,
to transform other people. Yeah.
100%. And I was not transformed. And at that time, I said I had a Judge Dredd poster. If you guys know the old show, like Judge Dredd,
Yes.
the girls would have it on my door and they would flip it every time I was being like an asshole, like micromanaging, dictating, pushing them around, belittling them, being transactional. They would flip that around because I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing it at this point anymore because that's what I keep hearing. But I knew in my heart I wanted to change that. So it was just
Exactly.
a reminder. They would flip it over and it flipped it pretty often. And that was our relationship. I had people come, go, leave, frustrating. It was just not great for the office. But when I got clear, I was like, hey, I am going to live out these values that was left for me by Jesus. I'm going to live this out and I'm going to be in integrity to that. What does that look in the business place? It means being an invitation for those who want to live that way as well.
That's right.
And so the how I looked at team members, how I brought them on was more, if I bringing you on, I'm almost taking them in as I will be disciple, I'll be growing you, I'll be investing in you. I will be um, I am taking responsibility for some level of your maturity in your soul by the work that you perform daily. And it's not just you're just doing a work just to get it done so it could be efficient and profitable. It's like, no, your work is what shows up in your faith. Are you being faithful to little things with your checklist? Are you now I can't trust you with the big things, but how do we get you from A to Z?
Yeah.
And when that was a transformation, it was just I began to develop leaders in the business who could think for themselves, who made decisions for the business and for the patients, for the team, who could solve problems, who I could leave the business to like I can be gone for like a whole month and the business would run. The team know what to do for the most part, right? And
Mm.
they know how to push away people who aren't following these values because they hold the standard without dropping it down. So they become what I call entrepreneurs, partners. They become a part of the practice versus something that I just use up and spit out.
That's right. So Tony, with our limited time, if you can, one thing before I ask you a question is, you mentioned that the training gonna be more than 10 hour, 12 hour. One thing I can see is that you know I can imagine the discussion that you will have one-on-one with the dentist depend on the level of they are with the God and things like that. It could be easy, could be a journey, take time, but with God work, with someone that experienced and passionate about what you do, the reason that we do is we I'm sure you can sit down and spend hours after hour with somebody and you still want to do more because you feel like in you still have a lot more to do it, right?
Mhm.
It's very different. People might have like, okay, my training is 6 hour, my training 2 hour, you're gonna get everything. But you mentioned like it could be 10 hour, could be more, and the only way that you can have that much of passion or a sort of information that is flowing out for you is you have to have uh, some kind of principle, right? Some kind of like uh, core value. Otherwise, you can't give that many. You
No, you
can't spend that.
can't. It's
Yeah,
impossible um, to replicate the mechanics of the training. You can't
right,
replicate it because it's based on, like you said, you have to be transformed to be a conduit for transformation.
right,
And so it can't be trained mechanically. It has to be the change of the heart and the soul first. So you're absolutely right. Like you can't replicate this training. You can't replicate just do this action, do this, and do that. It's not going to work because they
right,
will not have eyes to see. They won't have ears to hear them. They won't have the words to say what they need to say for that moment and just catch those actions when it occurs. So yes, you gotta. It's got to be aligned. It can't just be taught per se.
right. So, Tony, for the listener, whether they are a dentist, medical doctor. We're talking to the population of very highly educated people, PhD scientists or lawyer, attorney, dentist, general specialist, and all of this. What is your message for the whether the maybe for the non-believer and for the believer? Just a short message before we close, and hopefully we will invite you back for a little bit more of like a very narrow conversation about something that you were on your teaching or coaching.
Mm. Yeah, for non-believers and believers, I guess I can start with the non-believers. I would say it's okay, and I say I am. It's not that I apologize, but I can apologize for many Christians because I was the one that was scarred by Christianity too. If you talk to anyone, I was scarred. I didn't want it. I literally said I could punch a Christian in the face because they made me so upset because of the way they hurt me, the
Yes.
judgment,
Yeah.
criticism, the you're not good enough. And I can tell you that is not the heart of Jesus. That's not the heart of Christianity. And
Right.
that that's not grace. So I just want to say for the non-believers, I'm sorry. And it's a journey and know that it's okay.
Right.
And for the believers, I say if you are believing, make sure your life has the fruits that are aligned with believing. Are you investing in others in discipleship? Are you investing in the kingdom, in kingdom building? Because if you're not, that's okay. Figure out what's getting in your way and take an action step moving forward. But if you're a believer, you also need to, not need to, but you're committing yourself to be a kingdom builder as well. So make sure you get the tools to become a kingdom builder. Don't sit in complacency and don't think because I've donated enough, I went to church enough, I am good. Those are just actions that you do, but that doesn't speak about your heart.
Exactly. I mean, you can at being the quote unquote Christian, um, you can pray, you can read the Bible, you can go to church, you can do worship, you can do everything. But the Bible said that, in the end, when you meet one-on-one with Christ, he said, I don't know you.
Yeah.
So it sounds very harsh, but that's the reality. The Bible said
Mhm.
that we it's not about how good we do for God, but it's the matter of the relationship. Do you really have the relationship with God, one-on-one relationship with God?
Yeah.
Do you hear his guidance? Do you hear his voice, or you just all about praying, do the good part?
Yeah.
But you don't really have a connection. You don't have
Mhm.
the relationship, the vertical dimension, right? If you don't have that deep relationship, how can you tell yourself that you are a Christian if you don't love other people? And the reason that you don't love each other because you don't have the love of God that it pour over in your heart and it overflow into your body and can spread it out. If you don't have that, you can't do that.
Mhm.
You cannot fake. You cannot fake. You cannot fake your love.
Yeah.
You can fake, but it's not real, right? You can stand in front of the patient,
Yeah.
talk in the patient, and look like you are very humble, look like you are very compassionate, but they can feel it, they can see it.
Yeah.
So how do you act real?
Mhm.
Acting real is you know you have to somehow um, experience experience God love, experience the connection of that God work on your life, and or surrounding yourself with people that experience, right, and got training, and that's how you're being more mature each day of your life, each year of your life, right?
Yeah. Ongoing progress. And I have not arrived. I'm still on my journey. We're all still on our journey. And so we're just giving what I know and what has worked for me and what's worked in my life as a testimonial. But
Mm,
it's just like Jesus. Jesus walked by and said, "Follow me." And they said no. He kept walking and asked the next person.
right.
Yeah.
So, brother Tony, it's beautiful. I know that we just touched on very superficial um, information, get to know you. I can't wait. We could do a different podcast. Um, do you have anything that you like your contact where I allow you to share if you have like a link that somebody can use that, or how did I contact you?
Yeah, I can you can always email me. So I'll give Luck the email is coachdanny.damascus@gmail.com. So you can email me there. If you find me on Facebook, because this is tagged, you can always privately message me. I'm great at replying back to any social media responses as well. And then I'll also put in the link too for the upcoming training. And it has my contact information and a link that you can just set up a Calendly if you just want to say, I want to know more about this. I want to know what's possible too. And you just want to speak about that and talk about that. Then my link's on there for you to schedule and we can have that talk as well.
So on this, as soon as we done this podcast, Tony will send me a link and then I will embed into the description of this video. So if you guys want to reach out, to him, register the class, the coaching section, feel free to do that. I'd like to thank you, Tony, for your time today. I know
Yeah.
it's getting late over there in Texas. Hope to see you in person one day.
Yeah, same here, Lauk. Thank you for getting me on here and asking those great questions as well, and just sharing that our passion, that life that we get, so we can reflect onto others. So I just appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. It's my honor. God bless.